Hello, and welcome back to another inspiring episode of the Achieving Unity Success Formula Weekly podcast, where we turn chaos into connection and purpose into action. I am your host, Mark Intrican, founder of the Achieving Unity Success Formula, also known as the Unity Success Formula, which is available at unitysuccessformula.com. We are dedicated to improving lives by encouraging, inspiring, and including others. Today, we welcome Timothy Stuetz, an acclaimed author, children's author, meditation teacher, and creator of over 86 imaginative books. Timothy's passion lies in empowering children and families through the magic of storytelling, mindfulness, and creative movement, blending wisdom and whimsy to inspire growth and healing. With a unique approach that weaves together meditation, play, and heart centered learning, Timothy has touched countless lives, challenges, courage, and joy. Get ready for an uplifting conversation that bridges creativity, unity, and personal transformation. However, before we delve into this insightful discussion, let me briefly introduce my company, Reality Focus Dynamics, where it all began. As you see on the first slide, it's my gift to you, and I please hope you will take advantage of it. It is our Achieving Unity Guide, and it is available for you now. So if you will look at the QR code on the bottom left, you'll see the way to get to it, or you can go to it through our site, www.markintrican.com, which you can get to through the blog on the bottom right, or that's another QR code you can use to quickly get to our site. Achieving Unity Success Formula. This is our weekly podcast, and it is number 57. We're 5 weeks over our first year, and this is on every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern time, and we want you to put it on your calendar. Join us each week, every week. Come back, find out more about what we can do through achieving unity and growing faster and much more encouraging, inspiring, and including others. As you notice on our logo, it truly reflects the core of what we do and how we stand firm. Notice how focused is at the heart. It is what we believe, is what we focus on, what we explore. It's everything from reality focused dynamics to success focused solutions. It revolves around clear, intentional direction. In fact, that word, the concept of being focused, is so core to us that it is even reflected in our business phone number, 303 362 8733, which spells 303 focused on your phone pad. We believe that by being truly focused on what matters, we can create meaningful change and achieve lasting unity. What we have is proven, compassionate strategies that turn conflict into lasting harmony at home, at work, and in every relationship that matters. Have you ever been frustrated by tension or arguments? at home, in the office, socially. Our 7-step roadmap gives you the tools to move from conflict to collaboration quickly and confidently, craving stronger trust and connection from more of your friends, family, work associates. Through us, you can discover communication tactics that build respect, that repairs relationships, and unify teams and families alike. What we do is transform conflict into connection, together achieving unity. Unity inspires us in our homes, it shapes society, and it transforms workplaces. We help you turn that frustration into understanding. Have you ever heard somebody say, "What the frustration?" They may not have said frustration, but what we do is help you find value in your actions instead of reacting in that anger or that frustration. We show that anger holds absolutely no value. There's no one I've ever seen I've been proud of for being angry. It's crazy. There's some people that have stood up, stood strong, but they do not need anger. Anger is nothing more than actions not gaining effective results. ANGER, anger, actions not gaining effective results. Life happens in every relationship, from personal to professional, from parenting time to partnerships, in the boardroom, in the bedroom, and in every room in between. We show you how to embrace challenges and encourage a more inspired and inclusive future. That's our EII. You go out to our markentrigan.com/blog, you'll see the articles that I have written out there that talk about encouragement, inspiration, and including others. It's the EII we need. One vision, one goal, achieving unity in every area of life. What's our call to action? Let's ditch the drama. Let's get stuff done. We will show you how to turn your life from what may seem like a dumpster fire into a well-oiled machine. Achieving unity, the path to stronger relationships, inspired leadership, and lasting change. We help you through coaching, consulting, courses, and keynote speeches. Please contact us today. We have several domains. Get into talking with us. realityfocusdynamics.com, achievingunity.com, markentrican.com. Come talk to us today. 303-362-8733, which is 303 Focus, or feel free to use that QR code at the bottom of the screen. Love to talk with you. Call us today. And as we mentioned, this podcast is weekly. So we want you to come back again and again and again. We have an awesome guest today. We'll talk about Timothy in a few minutes. But next week, we have Bear Pasco. He's going to be talking about nothing more caring or masculine than parenting your children. Sometimes we don't see that in the world today. Some of our cultures from the past don't think about both parents being best for their children. Both parents can be. He's going to talk to us about that. The following week, October 29th, Dr. Sherry Rosenthal, a retreat strategist. Have you ever been on a retreat? Have you ever held a retreat? Dr. Sherry will be here next week, or not next week, the 29th, and talk to us about what retreats can do for your business or for you to go to personally. Come back to us on those. Next week, Edmund Marino, looking in the mirror, organizationally and personally. That'll be the first one in November, November 5th. Then, what do you think about energy? What about renewable energy? What are they telling us? What do we see on the news? Well, on November 12th, Ronald Stein will be here. He will talk about the energy literacy. What is right? What is wrong? What can we do to truly help build renewable energy in the future? On November 19th, Debbie Fennell, she'll be here building lists through relationships, whether it's personally or professionally. What do you do as far as building a list? Your friends, your family. How large is your family? What about your business? This is where Debbie will come and help us. How to build lists, how to grow them, or start your own business. But today, I'm excited to say, speaking about the word list, building lists through relationships. Timothy Stuetz is a transformational healer. He's a teacher and storyteller who bridges ancient wisdom with modern energy practices, help individuals and families awaken their inner power. Once a certified public accountant, a CPA, Timothy followed his calling into the world of holistic healing, becoming a master of mediation, Reiki, Tai Chi, Qigong, yoga. With over 35 years of experience, he has guided thousands through spiritual and emotional healing. As a certified medical intuitive, quantum clairvoyant, and ordained minister in holistic healing, his mission is to help others remember the divine magic within and live with vitality, clarity, and space, transforming lives through imagination, mindfulness, and love. You can't forget that. If you ever want to talk to him online, you want to connect with him online, there's his URL on the bottom right, www.timothystuetz.com. So don't forget to go out there today, this evening, get in touch with him. But for now, we're going to get a chance to talk with him, find out more about what he brings to us. Please help me welcome Timothy Stuetz.
Oh, it's great to be here with you, Mark. And I love that introduction that you go through because focus is at the center of everything I've learned to do.
Isn't that the truth? And sometimes we don't focus enough. It's kind of crazy when we don't prioritize and think about the things that mean the most to us, what we need to do today, what we need to do now. What can we put off till tomorrow without procrastinating? What can we do? So, Timothy, thank you for being here. It's awesome to have you. It's so interesting to read your information. You describe your work as a fast track to bliss and brilliance. In a world full of the detours that I talk about a lot and the negativity that we see and sometimes the dead ends, what does that fast track actually look like?
Well, that fast track has a lot. It has a lot of detours. It has a lot of stepping back at times and saying, okay, for instance, I woke up one morning at the end of my CPA career, and first thing out of my mouth when I looked at my partner was I literally just woke up saying, if Hershey's can make chocolate kisses, I can make chocolate French kisses. And I literally followed that because it came from within me. And I set out to make a product, chocolate French kisses, a little chocolate lips with the tongue curled out, beautiful packaging. Wow. I arranged for somebody to make them for me, and then they saw that this might be the next pet rock and charged me 3 times what they originally quoted me. So I learned how to go out and make chocolate. So I opened up a little kitchen and learned how to make and dip chocolate and make my own chocolates, rather than get a gun held to my head and say, you're going to pay me more. But and I thought it was going to be the next kind of pet rock thing too. I thought it was really great for gift stores and airports and flower shops and everything. And I learned a lot because the chocolate I bought was not the normal chocolate you find in stores, which is full of wax. And that wax is in there to keep the chocolate from melting. So I bought good chocolate. So I couldn't really ship without dry ice. So that was another thing that I had to
Another
learn
cost.
about in this new venture. And it was in that chocolate shop that one day I received a box, a large box from UPS that I did not order. And UPS would not take it back because only my address was on it. So I opened it up
Oh
and
no.
yeah, and I opened it up and looking at me was 50 little teddy bears with little hearts around their neck. And being a CPA by trade and loving Hardy Boy books as a child, I had to find out how those bears got to me. And I discovered the owners. I discovered how their wholesaler smuggled them into the country trying to get something skimmed off the side for himself. But they gave me those bears. They gave me the whole box.
Oh wow.
And I carried one in my car. It rode shotgun. And after about 2 weeks, I picked that little bear up and I at a stop sign. I looked at it. I said, "Who are you?" And to my surprise, I actually heard something in my head, kind of like when I woke up and heard I can make chocolate French kisses. And
Yes.
this little bear said, "I'm Poet Bear," which actually made sense to me because I wrote love poetry. I wrote philosophical poetry. I wrote poetry about things going on in the world. So I packaged that little bear with a small book of my poetry, called it Tales of the Heart, put it in one box next to each other, which was about 2 years before the toy companies and everything started packaging stuffed animals with books for children.
Right.
And my mom took one look at the finished product when I got it together and put it on the candy store shop to sell. And she said, "You blew it. That should have been a children's book." And I said, "Yeah, Mom, there's not one story in there, one poem, not one story in there for children, about children or for children." But my mom really knew the deepest parts of me. I mean, she could see sadness that was behind my face that I didn't even know was ready to come up. And 6 months after she said that, I literally got, I'll just call it a download. I mean, the whole first story just came in, characters and all. And so I wrote that story, and then they just kept coming. And, you said there's 86 stories at the front. I've actually written almost 300 now,
Wow. That's a lot of
along with
stories.
along with 50 children's songs. So that back to the detours. I started out in a candy shop, followed my heart, and that misdelivery of bears and my mom's comment led me to writing more children's stories than anybody in the history of planet Earth that we know about. And
Congratulations.
yeah, and I've always loved writing. Um, and it's a way to help people. It's a way to teach people what you're teaching from a very young age. Like when children are listening to stories, they are totally focused. It's like their
Mhm.
jaws drop open, their eyes are kind of like staring at something. And it's in that state that they are actually rewiring their brain and creating images in their brain. And that ability to create internal images has been proven to be the number one basis for success later in life. That people who cannot create internal images, the people who cannot imagine, they don't succeed as much as those who can, and they're also more violent in many ways.
Oh.
So from a
When you're
very young
talking
age, we can teach children to focus just by reading stories to them.
now, one thing you're talking about is a little bit new to me. People that can't imagine. Did I hear you correctly?
Yep. Imagination, the ability to imagine in our mind what we're hearing, literally is Joseph Chilton Pierce, who used to be one of the foremost experts in human development. He's no longer on the planet. He said that the ability to create internal images was the highest achievement of the human species, and that it was
Wow.
the basis of all future success. And that's one reason why I don't have anything but a cover illustration on most of my stories, because I don't want children seeing an adult's idea of a fixed picture on a page. I want them listening to the story and creating their own images in their head. And,
Excellent.
and then they can draw them on the, if they're old enough, they can draw them. If they're not old enough, it creates a great bonding with the reader, the parent, or whoever's reading, where they can stop and say, what are you seeing? What are you imagining as you're listening to that? And that's a great way for children also to learn that we don't all think the same way. So two people could be listening to the same thing and imagining something completely different. And
Absolutely.
if children could learn that at a young age, because I know people in their 40s don't get that. They think everybody should be thinking like them. And that's not the way to create unity. That's
There
the
you
way to
go.
create diversity.
But it's interesting that you say that. And as I'm listening to you talk, because I've never been, let's say, for example, a science fiction person. I've never, it's never intrigued me. Was it the Star Wars that came out in '76? I think I saw the first one of those, but it never, I never went to a science fiction movie or watched one that wasn't intrigued by someone else, that someone else intrigued me to go because of their imagination.
Mm.
But then a lot of other imaginations I think about, for me, are things that I can do or I can invent. It's a business imagination. But I never think about space imagination. What do you think about that?
I think we can all use our powers of imagination in whatever way serves our purpose in society and what we love to do. So using the imagination to create the business, to create however you want to help people, that's imaginative.
That
You know, you're
is.
not, you're not just sitting there doing nothing, not using that
Mhm.
capability. So, um, I can't visualize creating pictures out of the stories I write. So I write stories that somebody can create pictures. They're very visual. They have all of that creates visual. But for me to actually visualize it myself, or actually pick up a pen or something and draw something, that's not my imagination. And I can't tell you where my imagination actually comes from, Mark. All I know is by focusing for 44 years, and the basis of martial arts is focus. You focus below your navel. So when when you see those martial art movies where there's somebody defending off seven different people coming at them from seven different angles, it's because they're literally focused. They've learned to focus in their navel, which puts them in harmony with the entire universe. So they feel what's coming at them, not in their
Mhm.
eyes. We have a huge energy field, so they're feeling it.
Interesting. Yeah.
And so the practice of doing Tai Chi, practice of Qigong, all those movements that are there, You know, they shape energy and they're fun to do. But the main practice is keeping your attention below your navel while you're doing the movement. So
Hmm.
it's a way of learning to focus the mind and controlling the mind. And that's what focus is about, controlling the mind. And if you can't control the mind, your life is
Gonna be in
chaos.
trouble.
And you know, it's like most people don't realize that they're, you know, in teaching various classes, I used to ask people, you know, it's like, where's your mind? And most people would point here. And it's like, no, I'm sorry, that's your brain. Your brain's a computer. You know, no surgeon can cut you open and hand you your mind. It's
Your,
invisible.
your mind is your thoughts and being
Yeah,
mindfulness.
well, the thoughts come through the mind, but the mind is like this incredible energy field, and we all have access to it. So when we get our little mind out of the way through focus, then we don't have thoughts that we don't want to have. We control the mind, just like we control the body. Okay, right arm, go up. Left arm, go up. So if I want my mind to think, it'll think. Otherwise, my mind is like a peaceful, still lake. So I literally just get ideas for stories, just right and left. They just come in. Something triggers it. Like you say something, it gives me an idea for a story. I see something, it gives me an idea for a story.
It's
And
it it's interesting you talk about that because I am intrigued by what you're talking about this with the words without pictures, but it lets us, and I hope there's something that you put in there that intrigues us to put those pictures there, to think about that. Because I don't think I had that when I was growing up.
um, I actually can't say that I saw pictures of what I
Mhm.
was reading. I just
That's
enjoyed
good.
reading it. It's like I've never thought about this, Mark, till you said that.
This is good. We should talk sometime off camera, but you have
It's like
no.
what I got from reading, okay, was I got the thrill of reading and wanting to know what was going to happen next.
Mhm. That's where I was. What's next? What's next? And kind of read fast so I can get to that next page. But Timothy, you've devoted almost 5 decades to condensing the world's most elite teachings, blending everything from fairy tales, ancient arts, to sacred sciences. How do you harmonize seemingly disparate things like a modern coach, a sensei, and an award winning fairy tale creator to deliver, would it be practical results? How do you do that?
I don't know how it all comes together, but it does. For instance, your slide about anger.
Yes.
The An ancient text in India, it's called the Spanda Karikas. It says that anger is the closest energy next to God that a human being can feel. So the expression of anger and how we use anger can really screw things up.
Yes.
But
When is it anger? Sorry,
when
go
I
ahead.
when I learned that anger was that power, like the power of God within us, and it is. I mean, when you feel angry, there's energy there. Okay. So, what can you do with that energy? And I just put, when I learned that, I was already doing Tai Chi and I was already doing meditation and learning to flow energy up my spine. So I thought, wow, anger energy, that's real powerful. And our spinal column, or the subtle, in our subtle body, the sushumna, holds all of the past events that people run off of, their subconscious, etc. So I got the I got the idea of, okay, when I get angry, I'm going to take that energy, I'm going to focus it at the base of my spine, and I'm going to pull that anger up my spine and up to the top of my head and clear out all the stuff that's in me that doesn't belong in me, even the source
I,
of that anger. So,
can I touch on that a second?
yeah.
I love what you're saying, but where that comes in for me is that's not anger. Anger, as my definition, my understanding, is again actions not gaining effective results. What I hear you talking about, Timothy, is passion. I could see passion doing what you're talking about, coming to the top of your head, that power, that energy, that passion for something.
Well, you can do that, but I actually I actually learned that by doing that with the anger energy so that I did not explode out and ruin another relationship or get myself so worked up I couldn't focus on something that was constructive. So for me, yeah, maybe it was a passion to actually use that energy I was feeling to pull it up into the top of my head. And what I did learn was that energy is so powerful. Anger is a response usually to something we can't control, something that gets triggered from the past. It's just like, man, right away, there's an event that's been in the past, and all of a sudden it doesn't resonate with what's going on and what we've learned and how we've learned to be in the world. And man, we are angry and we want to lash out. So if we catch that and all of that energy, instead of lashing out, we take it consciously up our spine and out the top of our head. What I found was it actually clears the source. So whatever triggered that anger will never show up and trigger any more anger again. So that's just my personal experience of it, and I've shared it with other people to test it out. So I just invite anybody that next time you feel real angry, focus that energy at the base of your spine, pull it up the top of your head, breathe, and know intentionally that you're using that energy for your higher self-development, that you're getting it out of your system in a way that it will never, ever come back. And
And
even temper tantrums with children, okay? You know, parents don't know what to do with temper tantrums from children. Well, there's some Qigong exercises where you can literally pick up a foot, you know, bend a foot, pick it up and stomp it down. You can, it's walking and stomping. Do the same with the other foot. You stomp it down and you stomp it down and you stomp it down. So, you know, teach your child to have a temper tantrum intentionally, focusing on stomping their feet. And that gets rid of the sources of temper tantrums too. So that I just look at different ways of taking these different things I've learned to make life easier for ourselves and clear out the mind so that it's totally available for what to express whatever talents we have, to think about directions and be guided to directions to move our business, our relationships, everything, the things we love to do.
and I like that, and now that I can, and I'll definitely give you credit. Use some of what you're talking about as an example, because so much of what we do is the definition of a term or an idea or a concept. And we all have our own definitions of those concepts, those ideas. And for us to bring that power, that strength from our back over our head, there's value once you do the right thing with it. But if we can take the negative out of that process, which for most people, that's where anger comes from. Because too much anger creates the next step of negativity. And that's what we want to avoid. If it can take what you're saying and bring it up to that positive, what I call the passion, I appreciate what you're discussing.
And you actually, Mark, you actually feel when somebody does that, you actually feel so good by pulling that energy up. You actually feel so good and so alive, you don't want to do anything negative after that.
That's wonderful. I love that.
That gets into the happiness, the joy, the bliss that we're all designed to feel.
And if we can feel that way, that positive, stop the anger and any hurt of another person, that's where my drive is. And to touch on that, you have a visionary goal. Some of the things I read about what you do and from your website, which is so much information. You have a Buddha bliss. And I like some of the things that Buddha has said and expressed. But you have a Buddha bliss and a lumberjack vitality. And it shows that your ultimate goal is profound. Helping people live in that Buddha bliss with a lumberjack's vitality. That's a fantastic image. Can you unpack that a little bit?
That's something from a Tai Chi thing. It's like the vitality of a lumberjack, the wisdom of a sage, and you just pull it all together. You're vital and you're happy. I mean, if you're not healthy, it's real hard to stay focused. It's real hard to be successful when your body's hurting and aching and filled with all kinds of prescriptions that make it do things that it's not really designed to do. So having a healthy body is a step in moving forward and succeeding in all areas of life. Healthy mind and healthy body, and then we can truly live that happiness and bliss we're designed to live and experience and help others experience.
And that's so important right there, the empathy, helping others experience that don't know. As I'll talk about definition and terms, it's amazing how many of us don't know some simple steps how to solve some issues and some of the things that you're talking about. And for your perspective, again, I'm still looking at the Buddha bliss and the lumberjack vitality. Can you tell us a little bit more about the combination of that deep peace and that raw physical energy, kind of like I think you were talking about a few minutes ago, to unlock us in daily life?
So
you were talking about the power, the energy coming up on your back, top of your head, and
deep peace. Okay.
Go ahead.
Deep peace.
Deep
for
peace.
me, deep peace came for me through meditation. So in my early 30s, my life fell apart. Everything that I thought I should have done and everything that I thought brought happiness fell apart. And I just laid in bed, cried for 3 days. At the end, yelled out, "God, if you exist, I need to find you." I found a meditation path. So I started to meditate. I was a CPA at the time. My mind was always going, type A person. So I had a kitchen timer, Mark, and I set the kitchen timer for 2 minutes. That's how much I allowed myself to meditate every day to start. And I was like, I'll try this. And I did that for a week, and then I thought, oh, this feels pretty good. So I boosted it to 5 minutes. I kept doubling it till I was at 30 minutes twice a day. And this doesn't happen overnight, but you just get to a peaceful state where you want to feel that peace all the time. I gave up alcohol when the alcohol was getting in, not making me feel anywhere near as good as I was feeling meditating. So I didn't want to ruin my meditations with drinking. So deep peace comes from a focused mind that's not always thinking, because our mind, I woke up one morning, you know, that space right before you wake up in the morning, and
Yes.
it's kind of like this magical space, you know, you can actually seed things that are going to happen in the day. Well, what I saw in that space was I saw my mind planning out my day. And I literally, I didn't read about this or anything. I just watched my mind planning my whole day. And I thought, what the heck? I'm not even
Interesting.
up yet. And my mind's planning my day. That's when I took control of my mind really seriously. So it's like, for a month, I would ask my mind every thought it had. I'd say, how do you know? Prove it to me. What are you saying? And if my mind said the same thing over and over, you know how we roll the same thoughts over and over and over? I would just say to my mind, hey, I'm really smart. Just tell me something once and I'll get it. Quit repeating it. So it's like, I learned to take control of my mind that way. And by focusing it on one thing, which was below my navel, or by repeating a mantra of whatever word, people can use whatever word resonates with them: peace, love, I am love. So our body responds to what we think. So if when you're not really having to think about something and focus, just repeat, I am love. Doing the dishes, I am love. I am peace. I am life. You follow Christ, I am Christ. You follow Buddha, I am Buddha. Focus your mind that way, and eventually your mind gets tired of repeating the same thing over and over, and it just becomes quiet. It's
Does it
quiet.
do something? Does
Does
your
what?
mind start to do?
What was that?
When you're doing things over and over like that, like I'm hearing you say, does it get to the point where I think I heard you say, gets tired of it? When it gets tired of it, does it do something? Does it have the feeling, the desire, the passion, as I call it, to do something at that point?
No, it becomes, for me, it becomes totally still,
Mm.
completely. My my mind basically doesn't think anymore unless I want it to. So it's like stillness. And in that stillness, sometimes I hear inner music. Sometimes I get the idea for another story. Sometimes I just start repeating the mantras that I'm used to repeating for 40 years so that my mind doesn't wander off somewhere. And yeah, the chatter's gone, which when my mind's at peace, my body's at peace. And
That's
I'm
good.
healthy. I mean, I'm almost 70. How old am I, Mark? I'm almost 75. and,
Congratulations. That's excellent.
and I have a shoulder that's hurt from straining at picking something up, but I am as flexible or more flexible than I was in my 20s. I am on no medications. I have no problems anywhere. And it literally, I attribute that to meditation and doing some Tai Chi and yoga practices,
I hear that from many others.
and using, when things come up, I don't sweep them under the rug. So if I find it in the past, if something got me angry, it's like, I want to know why I got angry, or if I saw patterns in my life, it looks, it's like negative patterns repeating themselves. So I started to notice, wow, this looks similar to something else that's going on. And I wanted to stop the patterns. It's like, this isn't right. And we have that power to change our lives and change our directions of what we want to focus on.
And that's what I always call improve, because you want it to be long term. Change is short term, long term is improving. And I like what you're saying, because that's what I think it comes into. We can improve our life, right?
Oh, we can always improve our life. Every moment we can improve it and feel more and more happiness and bliss and joy. And go ahead.
I thank you, because I want to bring something out here, and I don't want to put you on the spot. But one of the things I'm thinking about is I went through your website and I was reading through the words and the things that you had out there. I'm wondering, because of these questions that I have created, I'm wondering if I'm not painting those pictures. Because one of the things I thought about was, for our audience, how many of them might feel stuck or stressed or disconnected right now from their own inner purpose? When someone first comes to you saying, I'm trapped in that inner maze, I'm trapped in that maze, what is something, maybe the single biggest mental shift, what is something that you might guide them through that starts to help them redefine that problem or that issue?
Well, first of all, I wish more people spent the time going through my website that you did, like you did. I wish more people came to me with that question, Mark.
Let me see if I can help you, because that's what this is all about.
That would solve a lot of people's problems. There's general things we can all do. We can bring our hands to our heart and focus on our heart. Like our heart has 40,000 brain cells in it. So our heart knows what's good for us. So when we learn how to ask our heart what to do, we can trust our heart, because it's not a polarity organ like our brain. Brain, left side, right side, this is good, this is bad, weighs this, weighs that. But our heart knows what's good for us. So just by calming ourselves, focus at the heart, doing some deep breaths, we can get calm and listen to what we need. We can ask, what do I need? And I have practices that people can do to do that. I teach different forms of meditation, Tai Chi, Qigong. But when somebody is sitting in front of me, I just tune in and hold space, and I let them talk. And usually when somebody's talking, they reveal what's that stuckness or what's keeping them from finding their purpose. For those that don't know the term Ayurvedic, it's one of the oldest forms of medicine and life discipline out of India. It's 4,000 years old. And so my Ayurvedic physician, good friend, one day calls me up and says, I've got a couple who I've been working with for 6 years trying to help them conceive a child. Nothing I'm doing is working, and nothing they did with Western medicine before me has worked. So would you get in the car and drive 2.5 hours out to Palm Springs and meet them? I said, sure.
Wow.
So sitting with this lovely older Indian couple at that point, we just sat in their living room with them and we talked. And within 1 hour of just listening to them, they revealed why they couldn't conceive a child. And it was as simple as the man in the relationship only wanted a child that was the reincarnation of his mother. And once I worked him around to say, and I was like, hey, you know, when you want a child, you don't get to tell God who you get. It's like, that's not part of the program. And have you asked your mother if she wants to come back and be your child? So, I mean,
Good
we're getting a
question.
different area with reincarnation here, but it's like, you got to take the parameter you put on that child. And I asked him, would you agree to let go of that? And he said, yes. And so I did some energy work with him, just some hands-on energy. 2 weeks later, the wife called me and she had conceived a child. So it was literally just an energy block, a mind thought,
Mm-hmm.
which is a lot of most of whatever we're experiencing physically for most of us, it's because of mental stuff. It's thoughts we're
It
holding, it's
is.
hurts we're holding, it's things we haven't processed through us.
And I
So,
think you said this or led to a little bit about this earlier, but our mind is very powerful.
oh,
It's
super
amazing
powerful.
sometimes what it can do that we don't even think about.
Yeah, I mean, I had a little, I had a mom call me one time because her son had asthma and he was going to go into the hospital for surgery, and she wanted me to do some energy work to see if we could do something prior to the surgery. So I go over and again, I'm just talking to the mom and this 9-year-old. And then all of a sudden, the 9-year-old said something and he showed me, he just picked up his shirt and he showed me his chest. And his chest was as if somebody had punched him with a fist, pulled out the fist, but the indentation of that fist was still in his chest.
Wow.
And I asked, so again, just talking with him, what had happened was at one point, his father, who was no longer living with them, had said something to him. It hurt him so bad, it was like being punched in the heart, like a physical punch. That's how powerful what his dad said to him was. It actually caved in his chest, which was the cause of the asthma. And
Interesting.
once he saw that, and with a little bit of energy work, he didn't have to have surgery. His chest came back to normal. I had a lady, an older lady I was teaching Tai Chi to, and yeah, I don't know, 2 months into the classes, she comes up to me after class one day, rolls up her pant leg, and shows me this grapefruit-sized lump on her leg that nobody's been able to cure. So she came, and I was working with a physical therapist at the time who did a lot of energy work. So the two of us worked on her one night. By the time we were done working on her, that lump went down to the size of less than a ping pong ball.
Hmm.
What that lump was, what she revealed when she relaxed enough and got in touch with it, was that she had had an abortion and never told anybody about it. And it manifested for her as that lump in the leg. So once she let that out, it disappeared. You know, even the ping pong ball size disappeared a couple of weeks later. So, you know, our body holds these things. Um, and that child, you know, some other child, the dad probably could have said the same thing and it wouldn't have affected that child, but we're each unique, you know, so what you say to one person might really damage him. You could say the same thing to another person and it, you know, just rolls right off of them. And I
So
think
definition of terms.
if we approach everybody in life with the awareness that they're just this innocent child of God and treat them like that, then we won't hurt anybody. We won't say things that could hurt somebody. And yeah.
It's so true. Wow. That's we've got 5 minutes left. Enjoying what you're saying. You're bringing up some things I had never thought of. Interesting steps. Not quite where I was thinking as far as the mind goes, but I do believe that you can think better things for your body. And same reason they put mirrors in athletic facilities, because you can see yourself, what you want to see with yourself. But if our listeners, for example, though, are intrigued by what you're saying, but maybe they need a little taste of some of what maybe people think is magic that you're talking about, what's the fastest, simplest tool or offering from the world that you're talking about? Would it be a personalized poem, a free session, quick training? What helps
I
give them that undeniable yes or no in their next step?
My freebie page has got so much free things. I've got a thing in there how to find that yes or no in you and get a solid answer all the time. Right now, very first thing on my homepage is you can book a 45-minute session with me, and we will clear out whatever is sitting in front of you right now, stopping you from living your bliss. My spiritual name that I was given is Ganesh. Ganesh is the remover of obstacles. So I literally have been blessed to remove whatever obstacle is sitting in somebody's life. And I'm not afraid to say that. I don't care who you are or what you got going on. If you have the intention of clearing out and getting beyond what you're doing, we can make that magic happen.
Interesting.
And my
Well,
website does have just a lot of free information, like podcasts with you. Okay. There was a lot of information given out here. I've been on a lot of podcasts. They're all on my website. I have a lot of just video blogs with a lot of stories and trainings within them, and a lot of free practices of Qigong and meditation. So people can start wherever they want to start and start to tune back into themselves.
so that's just www.timothystuetz.com. Stuetz. And they can get information on all the things that you're talking about, right?
Very true. And I'm just so delighted to be with you, Mark, and be with all the guests listening. And may everybody pay attention to what Mark's saying about
Thank you.
focusing and bringing everything together so that you can succeed and so that we can all live in unity happily together, succeeding together.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow. What an incredible podcast. Timothy Stuetz. Again, Timothy Stuetz, Stuetz.com. Timothy, thank you so much for sharing your time, your wisdom, your passion for helping people heal naturally. Anyone else that's out there. Remember, unity, like storing, and mindfulness, as Timothy talked about today, are mindsets of value, not just an ideal. They are success strategies. It's a daily choice for us to lead with empathy, act with integrity, and to uplift others along the way, helping them, helping each other, others helping you. A service that we can all give for free as we gain so much more for ourselves when we do that. So if anything intrigues you today, please get in touch with me. UnitySuccessFormula.com, MarkEntrican.com, and with each inspiration that Timothy has shared with us today, go out to his site timothystuetz.com. Look at his services. Look at what he will have for you. Check it out. Get in touch with him. Appreciate it. Timothy, any last comments before we close?
I would just say I was intrigued by seeing your upcoming guests, and I just want to invite everybody to come to your podcast each week, because when I was looking at their topics, it's like, oh yeah, I can see where that's going to go, and that's really valuable.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Timothy, again, thank you for being here. Until next time, let us continue to transform chaos into connection. Let us continue achieving unity. www.achievingunity.com, or you can always call us 303-362-8733, which spells 303 focused. And we can stay focused on turning chaos into connection as we achieve unity by harnessing the power of encouraging, inspiring, and including others in building better businesses, better lives, and a better world. Life is truly what we make it. So let's make it awesome together in unity. Thank you all. Timothy, thank you so much. Thanks for your message, helping others, your time, and your commitment.
My pleasure. Thank you, Mark.
Hope to see you all again next week. Till then, cheers.